McCann Center helps your team perform on the court?
Well, at least according to my kids, they absolutely love it. And I know opponents absolutely hate it. I remember Gina Costelli from Siena saying that this is the toughest place to play in. And most people, I think, in the conference believe that. And I think it shows in our record that we've lost very few games here at the McCann Center over the last 8 years. And I think a lot of it is because of the festive activities. It's just much more alive here. One, we get a great crowd, we get great support from the community and stuff. But two, we also get great support from the band and the dance team, and I think that's an integral part of, really the whole show. Here, compared to others, our band is much bigger and noisier and more active than the other bands that we've seen, if there is a band there. A lot of the schools either don't have a band, or there's one band that has like a little, I always like to think like it's a barbershop quartet, a bunch of old alum or something like that play. But no one has the, we've gone to some schools that have 10 or 12 kids there playing. And it sounds like a Salvation Army band, but it's nothing like ours.
There's a rumor that you requested Born to Run. Is that true?
Actually, I don't know. I always thought that would be a great one to come into. That's old school. And obviously, I am old. So, no, but that was great this year.
family-oriented, but very fan-friendly as well, and very vibrant. I think that's the best way of putting it. And that's where I think especially the band comes into that, because our band, we really believe, is as good as anybody, not only in our conference, but also regionally as well. And we just feel like that's something that sets us apart from a lot of other schools in our league, that when you have a team that's coming here, you know that's going to be loud because of the fans, but you also know because of the band that it's really going to be a special atmosphere, and we want to make our gym a place that if you're a visiting team coming in here, it's not going to be easy to win. I think it's just a good relationship that both sides have the chance to benefit from, because athletics certainly gets a lot of recognition by playing in high-level events such as the women's basketball NCAA run this year, getting to go to Duke, getting to win a first-round game. And then when you get that type of exposure, and then you see what the band brings to the table, I think that the band gets its own exposure as a result of that.
M-A-R-I-S-T, Marist, marches to victory!
On the atmosphere created at the McCann Center by both the student section, the fans, and the band?
Well, I might be a little partial, but I think that the band basically leads how loud the McCann Center gets, and I think the student body really backs that up. The general fan base it certainly gets supportive too, but it's really mostly the students that make up the majority of the volume in the McCann Center. And I think it makes it a really tough place to play, and even the coaches say it's a really tough place to play. So I think that's something we can actually be proud of. Certainly the exposure is probably the biggest thing that we get back from them. Just being on camera and having commentary about how great we are, and how much support there is. I think that's certainly what we receive from them. And in terms of what we give back to them, obviously all of the fan support, and all of that sort of thing that you would find at most colleges and universities.
Did you ever imagine he would be able to grow his program to what it is today?
But positive expectations for Art. He came from a great music program at the University of Michigan, was a leader in that band, and then of course had great band experience in the Army and at West Point. But I think he has truly exceeded everyone's expectations here. He has built, I think, one of the finest music programs, along with the other faculty and colleagues that he has, which deserve a lot of credit in the United States. So I think they're a tremendous part of Marist College, and we're all very grateful. I think Art appropriately can be called the music man at Marist, which is probably the title he should have. Well, I love sports, and I've always enjoyed sporting events, but I think a lot of people enjoy sports and come attend games, not only for just the athletic competition, but the culture around them. And I don't think there's really anything better than a college marching band at a fall football game, and the school spirit it creates, and then the tremendous job that our band does at both men's and women's basketball games to create excitement, to provide entertainment, to really cheer on the teams. And we clearly not only have the best band in the MAC, but I think again one of the best bands in the country. I've seen our band up against some really top rate bands, University of Tennessee, Duke, Iowa, and I'll tell you they're right there with the best of them, if not the best. Well, I think there's a good synergy between music and the band and sports, and I think there's a mutual appreciation. I know the athletes many times tell me how much they appreciate not only what the band does, but the spirit they help bring to other students that attend games, and also, as you suggest, both the football games and the basketball games and other sporting events that the bands play at offer great exposure for them. So I think both benefit, but most importantly, the entire institution benefits, and anyone who's interested not only in athletics,
said that your band is the best that has ever come through here, whether it was in New Orleans or LA or San Francisco. But this year at Duke was really the first year that we've had masses of people come up to us and say, we have North Carolina coming through here, and all these other ACC schools and everything, and we're the best that they've ever heard. So it's really quite something.
You know, it's funny. I don't get involved in social lives and stuff. I just know that I say hello to band members and they say hello back. You know, they're always fun at the events that we go to. It's great on the NCAA trips. So I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. I think it's probably better. There's a better rapport, at least with our program and the band, than whether it be other teams or, you know, where it's like at other schools. You know, our kids really recognize the importance of our band.
Okay.
And we especially notice it in January when it's break and the band's not back yet. We don't like having them.
I remember when Marist played in the Old Spice Classic for men's basketball, the inaugural event, which occurred in 2006, that on ESPN.com, there was a mention about the Marist band and what a well-oiled machine it was. And I'm sure, obviously, Art loves any type of recognition he can get because he certainly deserves it. But also, too, in and around the conference, just when you play other teams, you encounter other beat writers when you're in my position. And I remember one specifically, Ben Duty, who at the time was at the Trentonian, who covers Ryder. He mentioned in his online blog and just in talking to me, he said, you know what? Every time I come here, I know one thing. Your band is going to be ready to perform. And he always says, I think you guys have the best band in this league. And every time Ben always mentions anything that has to do with Marist basketball, he goes and says, I'll tell you what, their band is top-notch. That I think has filtered its way through that obviously when you have athletics and you have athletics events that you get exposure by the game itself, but then what the band is able to do, people take notice of it because of all the eyes that are watching the event to begin with.